Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. When I was doing Lights Out, I read sections every night almost. I really tried, so I'm going to try to get back on that and readle some of you to sleep, as my children used to say. Readle me, Daddy. So, and I want to expand. I want to do start one of the Chronicles of Narnia, not necessarily the first one, just because there's so many good lessons there. So, all right, I'm going to read chapter 5, and that'll be it for tonight. I will exercise tongue before talking. All right. I will prepare, and someday my chance will come. Abraham Lincoln. But that could be said by a lot of people. Me, for one. You know, people go through their whole lives preparing, being prepared, not preparing, being and preparing, but, you know, being formed and molded and tortured and heated up and crushed and broken down and just, you know, look at Joseph, the life of Joseph, you know, so went back and back and back and back, you know, beat up, sold into slavery, thrown into pit, thrown into slavery, thrown in prison, but it worked out good in the end. Miseris succurrere disco, non ignara male miseris succurrere disco. No stranger to evil, I have learned how to take care of the miserable. Story of my life. Started before I even got married. So still doing it, and very tired. So went over, and it's going to be about 16 degrees, about what it was in the 3 nights I spent my cold nights in the tent, and Brother Shannon is in a tent. So it just seems that, you know, there's things we have to go through. You know, one of the lessons I've been learning is that, you know, mobility, being able to strip back, get rid of, lighten load. You know, special forces say travel light, freeze at night, you know. But you get there, you can travel a lot farther. LRP, Long Range Reconnaissance Patrol. But anyway, yeah, so I went over to see if he needed anything, brought him a few things, you know, make sure he's ready for the chilly night ahead. At least he's got a tent with a full rain fly. It's a dome tent, 4-season tent. So we'll review it later. Yeah, we'll definitely review it. Oh boy, yeah. Lesson number 5, 6, or 7, I don't know. Like you say, they say a guy can learn by reading or learn by listening to other men, or he can just go out and piss on the electric fence himself. Well, yeah. Or fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, of course I had visitors, and we were all tired, all beat. You know, Jerry King from, you know, back east, and Brother Shannon and I, and we wanted to have a campfire. I did the reading. Well, there was a lot of wind. Starting at 17, 18, 19, 23 miles an hour, tent blew over. We hadn't guyed out the rainfly. So anyway, no big deal. It wasn't damaged. So stuck it back up. Same thing with the, you know, the one I was staying in there, the teepee tent, the Tahoe gear. It was very minimal damage at all. From the wind, you know, there's about maybe a 1-foot rip, which could be easily sewed up. So really the only problem, and that was I think there was a near tornado or something, tornado warning, and it was very gusty. It hit, supposed to hit 23 miles an hour. Same thing was going to hit the morning of this operation. So, all right. And I am going to cover not just cold weather survival, but wind and tents and procedures and staking and guying out lines. That's got to be covered. I want to help everyone be able to successfully, you know, travel, transition, camp, from hither to yon, or from yon to hither, thither, here. So, all right. Let's see. 5 minutes. Let's call this an update, and I'll do the chapter later. I mean, on the next video, so that way, somebody that wants to listen to the book doesn't have to listen to me blather for 5 minutes. So, and since I'm going to do that, let me pick my brain and see if there's anything else I want to say. Yeah, so I'm going to have a dedicated bag for, hammers and stakes, extra stakes and things like that, rope, cordage, repair stuff, because, sewing oil, that type of thing, because this happened too many times, and I want to make sure that if I go out to help somebody, you come with what you need to help them with. And that's one of the plans, one of the things I think is going to happen. I'm seeing the same thing. Shannon and I are like Siamese twins. We have major drastic changes in our life the same day. We both pray this exact same prayers in the exact same words, 3 different things the same day. And, just have major transitions on the same days. So now he's staying in a tent, a much better tent than I was. And going to be a combination of pretty similar weather. There's going to be 3 nights this week that are going to be 16, 17 right in there, pretty close to what I was. And there's been wind, so yeah. He's been stripped back and stripped back and stripped back. When I first met him, he had a full-size conversion van, high ceiling, camper van with DVD, queen-size bed in it, and now he's essentially homeless and continues to have, the Joseph syndrome, get beat up, get thrown in a pit, get sold into slavery, so. And we're getting to the point where we're just laughing about it, but we're really seeing some things, really seeing some heavy things. The people who have said, and this has happened repeatedly in my life and in his, no, you can't have any water. No, you can't have any shelter. No, you can't have any food, that type of thing. Or, say one thing and do something else. Wow, there's the essence of the gospel, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's very key, very core, yeah, there's just so many things I would want to cover. Listen to Keith Green, his song on the sheep and the goats. And, there's a book, Rich Mullins, An Arrow Pointing to Heaven. And, both of them were just sold out. They were real. They were genuine believers. They understood the gospel. And we're not there as a people. We're not there, Constantly, I'm hearing things from other people around here. I bring in visitors and people talk to them and they tell them the real skinny about me, the things about me, and I'm like, where did they get that from? Just things that are just flat not true. I not that big of a deal. For them it is, because they're bearing false witness. They're flat out lying. They're, backstabbing. Evil speaking is huge. Torah is, it's just, you're not to bear false witness. You're not to lie, and that's going on an awful lot among supposed friends and people that I helped get here to the OzArk Plateau from all over the country. It's like it's bizarre. It's just amazing, and I'm not griping about it. I'm just just stating that Shannon and I are seeing some very, very heavy things. All the things I have done since my youth. It's one thing you lack. Go and sell all that you have and feed the poor and come follow me. Oh, I can't do that. No. And that's what most people's problem is. You know, they can't do that. They can't let go of their things to help somebody else, to feed the poor. And I could tell some stories, you know. I talked to one guy that said whenever he bought a new car, he would get his old car and cab fare or whatever and go to the dumpiest trailer park he could find and drive down until he saw kind of a really situation, no car, something, a kid out playing, and he drove up and he had it all in an envelope and whatnot, baggy, and little kid's out playing. He says, "Here, this is the title and the keys to that car. Go give it to your mother or your father." Wow. And in one case, a couple hours later, he was at the gas station, you know, filling up his new car, and this man came over just crying, and he said, "What? How did you know?" He said, "We had just prayed for a car because we were desperate, you know." And he said, I don't know what you're talking about." He goes, "We saw you." You know, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. So, anyway, I'm just kind of this is like the 5th night in a row. Last night was just very, very, very tired, very exhausted. Still coughing a little bit, not as bad, but I can feel it, you know. Need to get a salt pipe and do it every day. You know, I could say I apologize, but sorry, I'm not going to. I mean, I'm sorry that I am that way, but, you know, I'm just trying to put some thoughts out there. You know, there's going to be two, think about this, 2 and only 2 groups of people, you know, before judgment, on Judgment Day. You got the sheep on the right and the goats on the left. And some of them are going to hear, "Depart from me, I never knew you." What do you mean? We did all this stuff, man. I preached, you know. We raised the dead. We preached in your name. We worked miracles. We cast out demons. Why are we departing? And I was hungry, and you didn't feed me. I was homeless. You didn't give me any shelter. I was sick. You didn't care. I was in prison. You didn't come visit me. I was thirsty. Wouldn't even give me any water. You know, there's some people that, and the man that stole my lifetime research, and, you know, I came up with the name for the company and the icon, the logo, and the research, the whole 9 yards. Stole that from me. Came out of a restaurant one time. There's a guy there that asked for food, you know, and I was going to give him my food, and this guy jumped on me. He said, "You know, I never feed these people. I never give them money. They can go get a job." And other people, you know, make a point of going out and finding someone who looked like they needed help. And this one man did that, and he saw a guy on his hands and knees bent over with his head on the ground, his face on the ground. And he knew he was praying. And he went and got a whole meal, everything. He even got tea, and he never buys unsweetened tea. And he thought, maybe he doesn't like it, so he got sugar, just in case the guy was diabetic or not, or whatever. Anyway, got this meal, brought it to the man. He said, and he set it down. And the man looked and said, I want to disturb you. He said, but here's food, drink. There's sugar there if you need it. If you don't, I got it unsweetened. And he had parked like 15 feet away. And he went back to his car, and he turned back around to go back and talk to the man. And, there's nowhere for the guy to walk. And he drove around looking for him. The food, the tea, the man, gone. And he was just stunned. And for 3 days, he was like in a, almost just, I don't know, trance, whatever, just awed by that experience, and just brokenhearted, very touched, very moved. So, and it's very clear, scriptures are very clear. Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by some, they have entertained angels unawares. So, people that are not kind to strangers are not being kind to Messiah, to Yeshua himself. He said so, out of his own mouth. So, if you're the type that is not kind to a stranger, isn't kind to a homeless person, isn't going to feed someone, isn't going to loan somebody, or give somebody or something that you can easily spare, he's going to have words with you someday. Not funny. So on the other hand, those of you who go out of the way and will feed someone that needs it, or help someone that needs it, bless someone, are sensitive to that voice, go give this to, I told Brother Shannon today, there was a friend of mine, very good friend, who's tied up, he and I are the ones that made an agreement, Father gives you $12 million, give me 6. If he gives me $12 million, I'll give you 6. And because that's what we need to get started on the work that needs to be done here. So he was out of feed for his animals and prayed about it, and a guy came over and said, there's 100 bales here on my trailer, let's unload it. And he says, wow, that's awesome. He says, this really helps me out for, I don't know, I just don't know what I'm going to do, when it runs out. Kind of complaining ahead of time, I don't know, but anyway. And the man said, well, God told me to give you this 100 bales, and he told me to bring you hay as long as you need it. Wow. There's angels, messengers out there. I may not read. I'm just heavy thoughts. Shannon tonight was over there in the tent with him, and he said, where 2 or 3 agree, and he went on, the second he said agree, I was like, that's what's been missing. 2 people that agree, on the gospel, that are similar hearted, giving and helping and unselfish and whatnot. I mean, and a lot of people are. They help other people. I'm not saying that, but just there was something there that I just went, wow. Now it says if 2 agree touching anything in my name, but just the idea that you could have 2 people consonant, in harmony, We don't agree on everything, but I'm just have a similar heart, I'm not explaining it well because I have other friends that are of the same idea, same mindset as me, to be ready to help people. We've been preparing our whole lives. But anyway, to then take that agreement and go beyond that and pray, ask for. So we're going to start doing that, praying in the evening, agreeing and praying and, confessing sins and saying, well, I flew off the handle there. I'm sorry I offended you, and just, maintain a relationship that is not what I'm seeing here around this area. Like I said, people that's been blessed to come here, saying some, other people too, just backbiting, backstabbing, evil speaking. If you can't say it to their face. What does Matthew 18 say? If you've got somebody against somebody, go to them in private and talk to them. But everybody has to blare, trumpet everybody else's shortcomings and sins to everybody else, but not to the person that they're backstabbing. Pretty sad. Not pretty sad, it's extremely sad. It's destroying people's lives. And it's the enemy that's doing it, that's behind it. But all of us, anybody that takes part in that is feeding into it. They're taking part, they're complicit in sin, in breaking Torah, in, going against the Old and the New Testament, because they're the same, teachings. So anyway, that's, I think I'm going to end it there because I'm tired. And I hope the volume, I know I'm not being real loud because, in the house and the friend and the daughter are sleeping. So I think I'm just going to edit there, and sorry about that. I'll read a chapter tomorrow. Here, you can screen shoot it and read it yourself. No, I'm kidding you. All right, and I apologize. Bye-bye. This is Jerry Diamond. If you're listening to this, you're the remnant. Come on out and help, please. Save yourself. No. If you save yourself, you'll lose your life. Think about that one. If you seek to lose your life for His sake, you will find it. Think it has something to do with this world versus the next world. Think about that. This is just a test. This is the dress rehearsal. This isn't where you're going to spend eternity. If you want to live for yourself here in this world, things will not go well for you in the next world. Okay? Think about it. Good night.